Hi everyone. I just wanted to give you guys an update about how I'm doing. It's kind of a scary time that we're living in with the pandemic, and I wanted to share my personal story as someone who is personally affected by COVID-19. I was tested 2 Saturdays ago and came as positive. And so I was considered to be one of the first Minnesotans to be diagnosed with COVID. And it's, I want by people hearing from someone who has this disease that it's not just a statistic and it's something more personal. So I decided to make a video. I was really scared to do it, but honestly, I think it's a great way for me to help process my thoughts, again, as we're living through this global pandemic. And I'm fortunate that I'm recovering, so I wanted to talk to you guys about how that affected me. So, my symptoms. I'm 29 years old, and I'm generally healthy. And I got this virus when I was visiting a dear friend in New York City. I started feeling sick. My doctors think that it took about 2 to 5 days for it to incubate, and that's when I started feeling sick. So so my main symptoms right away of how I felt sick. I had a fever. I had extreme body pain. I was screaming in the night. I had joint pain and eye pain. I had recently traveled to Uganda. And so we thought that maybe I had chikungunya or dengue or malaria, since my symptoms were not what we were finding online about COVID. So I called my tropical health clinic and to see if I could get a test for those tropical diseases. They refused to give me a test for those tropical diseases until I came back negative for the flu and for COVID. And they didn't want me to come into the clinic at all. So let me talk to you a little bit about my experience of being tested. I called the coronavirus hotline after I called my tropical health clinic. They recommended a place for me to go get tested. So again, this was 2 weeks ago. So this is when tests were still around. And they sent me to Health Partners on Wabasha. St. Paul girl, gotta go to St. Paul. And when I got into the parking lot, they said, call us and we will direct you on how to enter the building. So when I called them, they said, drive to the back of the building, go to the dumpsters, enter in through that door. When I entered through that door, people were there wearing hazmat suits. They walked me through until I got into an appointment area and waited for the doctor. Doctor came in wearing hazmat suit and face shield. They then swabbed my nose and my mouth. It was very painful. However, after talking to the doctor about my symptoms, he was positive that I did not have COVID-19. He actually came back into the room and was not wearing a hazmat suit. And they said, once it comes back negative, we will then test you for malaria and dengue and chikungunya. So the test takes 3 days. So within those 3 days, I decided I was going to self-quarantine. Well, first I felt so poorly that I couldn't do anything, so there's no point being out in society. I took sick time off and stayed home from work and didn't interact with anyone. And I'm very glad that I did, because after 3 days, I got my test results back and I came back tested positive. So I tested again around the time that there was only 21 patients, so possibly I'm 22. By the time the media came out with the results that following Monday, there were about 65 confirmed cases. So the beginning of my symptoms, they actually changed every few days. So I'm still experiencing them, but day 1 through day 3, I had a headache, pain behind my eyes. It felt like my eyes were being inflated like a bicycle tire. Fever, only 24 hours. Extreme fatigue. So after I started feeling I was sick, I couldn't walk up my stairs. I had to have Charlie take my shoes off. It wasn't pain yet. It was just extreme fatigue. Then the night of my first day of symptoms, I had extreme body pain, like I was saying. Like it felt like someone was stabbing the marrow of my bones. I was screaming. It was horrible. And a lot of back pain. Day 3 through 6, I actually felt totally fine. I was thinking, wow, I'm recovered. I will still be able to go on my trip to Arizona in a week. Okay, I must just have the flu. So I was waiting for the results at that point. And actually, after I got tested, I called my friend I visited in New York, and I said, whoa, I feel sick. I just wanted to let you know, but I'm going to get tested for malaria. And she said, whoa, I'm feeling sick too. And then at that point, I got my flu results, and they were negative. And I was like, whoa, maybe I'm going to have this COVID thing. And so decided to, again, like I said, stay home. Day 7 through day 11. Now this is where it gets really scary, guys. I had a dry cough. Finally got that dry cough everyone's talking about. Shortness of breath, tight chest, a lot of pain too. Back pain, extreme fatigue like the first couple days. And I could rarely eat or chew without getting enough oxygen, so kind of losing my appetite to eat. Last Friday was really scary, walking 10 feet to go to the bathroom. I was panting for air. I couldn't calm down. The pain was severe. I had to call the ER and let them know, hey, I might be coming in. And after calling in, it was decided, let's see if we can not have you come in so you don't infect people. And walked through some emergency questions with the ER nurse. If my lips were turning blue, how was my level of pain, and how much oxygen I was getting. So they consider that I have a moderate level of COVID and that I, because of my breathing problems, have pneumonia, but not bad enough to come in and to be on a ventilator. Or to get oxygen. Like I said, it was hard to get out of bed and to go to the bathroom. That distance itself made me gasp for air. Any sort of activity just put me on my butt. So I've been bedridden. I'm taking care of myself that way now, knowing that I can't overwork myself. I know that I like to be really busy, and during this downtime even, I'm still working, but not doing anything physical, not taking the dog for a walk, not walking around, nothing, just staying put. So that was really scary, but luckily I've been getting better since then. They gave me an inhaler, and I've been slowly recovering. So how have we adjusted our lifestyle because of COVID? It's been really challenging. I live with Charlie, like you guys know, and we share our space. And so he's had to self-quarantine as well because he could be carrying COVID. And they also want to monitor to make sure that he's not getting symptoms. So he's sleeping in another part of the house. We stay 6 feet away from each other. That's actually probably been the hardest part, not being able to have physical contact with somebody, even getting a hug. And he's had to learn to cook. So I call him and we walk through, like, how do you make salmon? He did a real good job. Proud little trooper. How to make soup. So he's taken care of me really well, and he is not feeling sick at all. He's actually enrolled in a study at the U of M to take malaria pills. So they are studying right now. It's going through a clinical trial, what dosage of malaria pill that could help those that have been exposed, particularly medical professionals, so that they don't develop symptoms. I actually was on malaria pills too because I was, like I said, coming back from a trip to Uganda. But there are several different varieties, and I had a different kind. So go figure, Jilla has the kind and then gets COVID. Talking about this has really helped. I've tried to go online and look for resources of others that are experiencing COVID, and we all seem to have different symptoms and different lengths of time for recovery. Like I said, I'm still recovering. I don't feel 100% still. but it's been really helpful, which is part of the reason why I've decided to make this video too. So if I can help anyone out there. And what can we all do in this time? I am saying stay home. Stay home. If you're sick or someone in your family feels sick, stay home. Look, I work with 50 other people in tight quarters. If I had not stayed home, there would be 50 more people that would be infected. Additionally, we have elderly people in our life. Like those people, if they get sick, that can be the matter of life or death. You can't have a livelihood if you don't have a life. The last words that I wanted to leave with you guys is this pandemic is going to be written in history books. Our kids, our grandkids will ask us about this experience. And it's our time to define how we are going to talk about history, and it will be written by our actions. So I think that we have to work together for our human species, not for our US, our Tennessee, our New York, our California, our Europe, our China. No, the human species to be organized, to take care of one another, to realize that the health of our most vulnerable people are among us is a determining factor of health of all of us. And if we aren't prepared to do that, we will never be able to prepare and to confront devastating challenges to our humanity. And last but not least, I have to thank everyone that I've told that have stepped up 100%. You've made me feel so loved, from my Charlie, who's taking care of me wonderfully, and dealing with all the stresses of having to read about this pandemic, all his partners experiencing it, and things changing every day. To Kelly going and being a detective like she is to find groceries that we need, to the phone calls of all my loved ones, to those trying to find an inhaler for me if I couldn't get one from the nurse, to Charlie's parents, to my mom, to everyone who is called. Like I said, those mean the world to me, and I don't feel alone. Don't feel like I'm dirty and gonna spread this to anyone. Because like I said, I was scared to put this out there, but I think it's really important that I do. So thank you for all of you for letting me share this message. I hope in some way I can instill a sense of calm. This is scary. This is really serious. It's been really hard for me, but there are very doable things that we can all do to protect ourselves and our community and to prevent the spread of COVID. Some things that we've done to help us mentally is not play into social media, not watch the news about it. I'm getting my information from the WHO and the CDC. They do daily briefings, because honestly, as I was watching more about this disease that was taking over my body on the news, being sensationalized, it made me really, really stressed out and actually ended up having a worse effect on my symptoms. So much so that I felt like I was having a panic attack. So I just needed to stop it and erase it and just reset, go to verified sources. And to me, that's the CDC, WHO. And yes, once a day, we allow ourselves to go and read about what's happening around the world. But other than that, to stay mentally healthy during this time, we've decided to limit our intake of the news. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me what can they do for me. Thank you. My immediate circle's been really able to help me gather the supplies that actually we both need, since we are quarantined under federal mandate not to leave the house. So it's been hard to get groceries, but we have those people in our support system who have done that for us. Thank you so much for all those who have, and that continue to do so. Another thing that you guys could do if you really wanted to help, I work with very vulnerable people, and like I said, this is a global pandemic. If you want to help me and my story inspired you, we work in places where there's no running water. We have to haul in bottles of water, and that's for drinking and for hand washing. So if you really want to help, feel free to donate to my organization. I'll put the link at the bottom of this video. And as we're ramping up on how we're going to deal with this global pandemic all around the world, that would just mean the world to me. So thanks so much. Appreciate it.